think that's kind of what drove me to do this, because I was like, in 2018, I went to India and I filmed with Andy, who was running a Christian orphanage in India, very hidden. He didn't tell anybody where he was, super persecuted place. And I was like, I mean, I'll go try to tell your story. Why not? And then it just sparked a fire in me to help as many people as I could, because this guy was flying back to the U.S. and driving around for 3 months every year away from his family, away from his kids, and was just trying to fundraise. And I was like, if you could do this online and really tell your story, how much more time could you spend with your family, you know?
Yeah.
And it just sparked this whole thing. And now we just came back from Thailand and did this whole documentary. And it's like, I know I'm moving in the right direction. Of course, I don't know. You know, I just felt peace to go to Thailand and film with Enoch. So this is what I did. Like, it's just step by step. This is the same thing, exactly what I'm trying to do with this. And I think that's what made me really want to talk to you about this, because I was like, this is exactly what I'm doing. Like,
yeah, and you're doing it though. You're like living it. Because I remember you sent that post out. You're like, hey, tell me about a nonprofit. Somebody's doing something that, you know, I can use my skills to help. And I think I mentioned, you know, Enoch and what they're doing in Thailand. And I mean, there were, you know, probably 20 different submissions at least on that post.
Yeah.
But then you just felt like that's the one.
Yep.
You know? And so, you know, that's what I tell people, man, follow that peace, follow that thing that sparks joy, that gets excitement, even though it's like, that's a pretty like big jump for you. I know you'd done the one in India, but then you traveling to Thailand, taking a team and doing that, like that's a huge step of faith, you know, a lot expensive, you know, going to Thailand and doing all that stuff. But you just went for it, you know? And so kudos to you for, you know, stepping out and just going for it and not just, you know, waiting until you had everything. You didn't have the money to go. It was like, hey, we're going. Yeah. And then it's like, we're trying to raise money, you know? And then I talked to you, it was like just a couple weeks before you guys left. You're like, man, I got everything but, you know, the money for the hotels. And so I was like, well, we'll help out with that, you know? And the money, the people, all that stuff came, but it came after you made that commitment to do that thing. And so, and I think that there's something to that. I think that's when, if you're, you know, a believer, you're a Christian, I think that's when God gets involved. He doesn't get involved with your planning per se. He gets involved when it's like, oh, this guy's serious about doing this. He's going to need my help. Yeah. You know, and it's your action that provokes God's involvement, you know, in your story and in what you're doing.
Yeah, we raised nearly $36,000 last year.
Wow.
And 9,000 of that was in 3 months trying to go to Thailand. It was mind-blowing. Like, we had no money for it. And then we just started posting on Facebook. We were like, somebody's got to help, right?
Yeah.
It was one of those things, like, I knew we were going. I didn't know when. I was like, maybe we'll go 2025. Like, whenever we get the money, we'll set a date, you know?
Yeah.
And then the board, so we started looking at it. We started looking at the prices after we said we were going. And we were like, well, we might only need 4,000. And then the tickets jumped. We're like, oh, we're going to need 7. And then tickets jumped. Oh, we're going to need 12. And the tickets jumped. And so we were like, okay, well, we're not bringing 5 people. We're not bringing 4. We're not bringing 3. And it was just me and Corey. We're like, this is all we have money for 2 of us.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it turned out great. And we're still promoting the documentary and looking at other festivals to put it into.
Yeah. But it's great because, like, the you know, provision for it followed the vision. You know, some people want the provision to come before they you know, execute the vision, but it's like, no, it only comes, you know, as you're going.